Welcome back guys, Car Boss here with another video about cards money investing. Today's video is that special video about the 2013 Precious Metal Gems Blue collection that I have here. Now I'm holding the camera in my hand, so just easier for me to pan the videos up and down. Okay, and do excuse that birds chirping in the background because got some birds just sitting outside my window at the moment. Okay, by the time you watch this video, okay, a lot of these PMGs, or most of these PMGs that you see in front here, are already out of my hands. Okay, I'm going to explain the whole chronology of my PMG journey and what has led me to basically move on from this PMG quest. Okay, so I have here, I think if you've seen my previous videos where I did my PSA reveal recently on my 30k mail days. Okay, I got a number of PMGs actually graded. That point I believe 8 PMGs were graded, so along with a number that I had already, and that helped facilitate a big transaction that just recently concluded. Okay, so I'm just going to run through quickly some of the cards that I have here and kind of like give you guys the chronology of what exactly happened, some prices, and what made me change my mind about trying to put together a set, which was the original plan from the beginning. Okay, so cool. First, let's look at the cards here. Okay, all these stuff here, they are graded. Okay, except I got a couple of raws here. So let's quickly go. So I got a Doctor Strange PSA 8, Scarlet Witch PSA 8, Iron Fist PSA 9, Iceman PSA 8. Let's move on next one. Got a Storm, it's PSA 8, Sabretooth PSA 8, Apocalypse PSA 8, and a Galactus PSA 8 as well. A couple of big ones here. This is Iron Man PSA 8, Captain America PSA 8, a Psylocke PSA 7, and a Cyclops in an old PSA label, which is PSA 8. A couple of other raws here, which is my Deadpool, my Alpha Deadpool, my 1 out of 50 raw. Got a Venom, Mr. Fantastic, Mystique, and a Silver Surfer PSA 8 as well. Okay, so if you guys have been doing the math right here, I've got a total of 17 PMG Blues here, okay, including the ones that's raw, and the total number of PMGs in this set is 42. So practically I'm basically about more than a third of the way, right, coming towards almost the 50% mark, right? So, and I got some of the big characters here. I got Iron Man, I got a Captain America, I got Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Silver Surfer, Venom, Deadpool. So, why stop, right? And why am I making this video now? Obviously, I'm trying to document my journey from the very beginning and what has led me to actually make this sale. So, when I first started looking at Marvel, right, so I was in a 1990 MU, as most people, but again, I realized that the potential in precious metal gems, and of course, there were a number of PMGs that could go in, right, the PMG Reds, the PMG Greens, okay, but I decided that PMG Blues were the way to go, and I was stuck to 2013, number one, because of all the line of characters, like all the characters that you see here, maybe aside from Iron Fist and maybe Mystique, but they're all big characters. They've all appeared in the movies, in the big screen, some form of another, right? So these are all huge characters, huge lineups, making that, I would say, 39 or maybe 38 out of 42 characters, good characters to own. And so this is an awesome set. When you compare to like 2015, there are a number of characters, second appearance. These are all first appearance characters, right? But you can't beat this lineup. 2013 retro is so iconic, and it's only fitting that PMG's 2013 was the way to go, and blue was the one that I wanted to cover, as I covered in my previous videos about why I choose blues over reds and greens. You can go back and watch that video about it. Okay, so obviously that was my train of thought, and I was basically targeting blues from the get-go. And the very first PMG I actually bought, I can still remember, is this Iceman for $325 raw. Okay, and that started the journey on acquiring many other pieces, including this Captain America I bought for about $3,000, and this Iron Man here for about $3,000. The rest are all smaller pieces, less than $1,000 each. Apocalypse I believe is $600, Sabretooth $400, Storm $850, Doctor Strange I think I paid about $1,500, which is big. Scarlet Witch as well is about $1,400, $1,500. Galactus about $800. Iron Fist, can't remember, maybe 300, I think I bought this. Okay, Cyclops, I bought this graded, that's why it's not still on the old PSA label, and I think I bought it for like 600. Psylocke, I bought it raw, I think for about 200. The PSA 7, still no idea though. I tried to look from what's the floor, but it's a PSA 7. Okay, and of course I bought a Surfer from auction for about $1,200, and it came out PSA 8. And a couple of these raws as well, okay, which I've not sent for grading as well. So there you go, right? So I've been picking up all these behind the scenes, just one at a time, while I'm doing all the other stuff like the jambalayas, the vibraniums and all, but with the ultimate goal of trying to put together a set. Okay, but I knew eventually, right, I'm gonna hit a couple of stumbling blocks. The two biggest characters in the set, which is Spider-Man and Wolverine, were extremely expensive, and at the point in time when I was putting together this set, there was still a number of PMG Blues that was on COMC. To name a few, there were I believe there was Phoenix, there was the Thing. Okay, those are the few pieces. Green Goblin, right? These are the sums that were missing, but I realized that they were priced about $800 to $1,000 each, not that expensive. And I still remember Black Friday sale having all these PMGs at a 20% discount. Had I had access to a bunch of funds at a point in time, I would have just went exclusively and snapped all of them up. But I was kind of half-hearted because at that point in time, even though I've already accumulated I would say about a third of the set, I realized that the Spider-Man was going to get further and further away from me. Okay, and true enough, back in after Christmas, in December last year, we had that Spider-Man Blue BGS 9 that sold on auctions for $132,000 on Goldin, and that basically just, set things off and just gave me the kick to say that, look, I'm never gonna complete this set, right? It's almost getting too impossible to get done. And moreover, right, that Wolverine, there was a Wolverine PMG Blue that sat on COMC for $10,000 for the longest time, right? $10,000. It's a lot of money for Wolverine. I had my valuations for the Wolverine for about $5,000 or $6,000, and during the Black Friday sale, it was indeed going for about $8,000, 20% discount, right? And you gotta pay the full $8,000 for it. I still reluctant to pull the trigger. Now, looking at that price today, anybody would give $8,000 for a PMG Blue Wolverine. Nice looking pose, out of 50, and it's 2020. It's an iconic Wolverine card, right? $8,000. That's a no-brainer. In fact, I believe someone probably snapped it off for $10,000. And today, if I were to throw a valuation on that, it's probably maybe $15,000 to at least $18,000, depending on condition. Raw PSA 8 maybe $20,000, right? Or PSA 9 above, who knows? But those two were the biggest cards that I knew that if I were to complete a set, I had to really bite the bullet and spend a lot of money to acquire. But I realized that it's a journey that I don't think I could put myself to put so much money into a single card, even though as iconic as that Spider-Man is. By the time I would, accumulate that amount of funds to really go for it, $100,000 is a lot of money. It's lifetime money to a lot of people. Even for myself, who have been active in this space, $100,000 is not easy to pull together. It's already tough to string $10,000 to make one card acquisition. What more, $100,000? So I make that conscious decision to decide that it was time to move on from PMGs. I had the decision whether or not to auction these stuff individually. I put up a test sale. I believe some of you may have noticed. I had the Iron Man, Captain America, Surfer that's still on eBay at the moment for sale to see what were the market. Was this testing the how the market would stretch on these characters, and I kind of get a sense of idea on the real true valuation for these PSA 8s. Right, you probably see some eBay auctions, getting excited on certain cards going for $5,000, $6,000, or $2,000 for a red or whatever. But like a lot of these results, they are not what it seems, right? There is some real numbers behind them, and those final numbers may not actually reflect the true value. Okay, so based on my knowledge and based on my assessment of all those results, I came to a conclusion on how I valued all my PMG Blues here. Okay, and basically marketed it for sale and got an offer and decided to move this entire lot, with exception of a couple here, right? My raw cards and my Silver Surfer. But everything you see here, okay, the Iron Man, Captain America, Psylocke, and all these guys here, they're essentially, by the time you watch this video, it's already out of my hands. Okay, do I feel pain moving this. You know, people are saying PMGs are the way to go. There is still a lot of price potentials for PMGs to move up. Yep, I do agree, okay, but there is a lot of capital sitting on all these characters here. Now, aside from Iron Man and Captain America, which are two huge guys, maybe Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, at least up to the movie that's coming up, I think that the values on all the other characters, they are pretty debatable, okay. You know, people who are chasing them, maybe because they just want a PMG, or maybe they're trying to get a set, I'm not sure, okay. But the values are always sticking in the big guys, the Iron Man and Captain America. These guys may go up further. By what percentage? I'm not sure. Okay, you could say that in time it may go another 30-40%. Okay, so I'm just using my gut and also my experience, you know, to try to estimate what's the fair value today as a whole and fair value of overall for, let's say, mainly these two guys versus all the others, because I believe at some point these two maybe will go up, or this way will go up, but the others may actually will come down a little, you know. It's kind of hard to believe, right? PMG prices coming down, but yes, for some characters, you know, after a while, people start to realize that not all PMGs are worth the same. You know, some characters are worth more than the other for different reasons, okay, and therefore the chase may be skewed, and people will pay a lot of premiums for bigger characters and not so much for smaller characters like an Iron Fist, even though it's a PSA 9, okay. So therefore, as a lot, okay, it was a strategic move for me to move all these guys at one go and perhaps repurpose the funds to a different angle, which there in Marvel there's a lot of other opportunity to get into. I'm going to talk about TIs, or actually by the time this video goes up, I probably already talked about TIs, right? So TIs is a play, okay. Vibraniums was a play, and there are a couple of others which I am actually looking at. Now, PMGs, no doubt that this is the commodity, okay. It's always nice to hold, but you know, what I have in front of me, you know, these are not really, to me, in my opinion, really investment grade quality specimens. I know a lot of people can be satisfied with PSA 8s on their PMGs, but if you really want to go for the creme de la creme, it has to be the PSA 9s and above, right? That Spider-Man BGS 9 is investment grade, right? Everything else here, a Sabretooth or Storm for that matter, right? It's just a PMG, right? If you really want to stay in this game long term, you got to really hunt for investment grade stuff. So I know the person who is actually receiving all this is going to enjoy. Perhaps he's building a set. Maybe he has the Spider-Man, okay? But he definitely got a good buy from me, and I was being very fair with the price. I knew what I wanted from this. Okay? He knew what he was going to pay, and we did come to an agreement. I was happy to move this for that price. So I'm just documenting this video as a goodbye to say to this lot of cards. You know, it was a big part of my 6 months journey between middle of 2021 to today. Okay, so just want to see these guys go to a new home. All right. That's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for watching. You know, hope you guys enjoy this video. Do like, subscribe for more content, Marvel and sports related. Okay, cheers. Cowboys out.